So today I'm going to be talking about the eradication of wolves in Colorado. So I first heard about this topic when I started the zookeeping program in the spring. And every single one of my classes, I heard about this topic. Mostly all they said was just we need wolves back in Colorado, but I never really understood why or how they were even eradicated, so that's why I chose this topic today. So I'll be talking about a couple main points. I'll be talking about the historical range, the current range, how they were eradicated and why, and then how the ecosystem changed after they were gone. So this is the gray wolf. The scientific name is Canis lupus. So the historical range was pretty much all widespread throughout the US and Canada and Alaska. They were the most widespread mammal aside from humans. They were second. They were once believed to have 2 million in North America. This is the current range of the wolves. So the red is the wolf reintroduction ranges, blue is the established wolf ranges that are current, and then orange is where the wolves are spreading to now. Despite this major decline in their range, they are not threatened at all, and they're of least concern. And they're still widespread in Canada and Alaska. It's not shown on this picture, but they are. So their main, the main prey of the gray wolf is many animals that we see here in Colorado. So deer, elk, moose. It was bison. There's not much bison left, but those are the main animals that we see. And so the packs now typically range from 8 to 12 wolves. They're mostly the dominant pair, and then the rest of the pack will be the offspring. So it can be like a year or two they stick with the pack, and then the pups will just eventually go off. But that's what the pack members consist of, is all family. And a pack can consume 5.5 to 14 pounds of meat a day. So it's a lot. They have to hunt a lot. And so now that we've went over the historical range, what they eat, with a little bit about the wolves, we'll talk about how they were eradicated and why. So the first bounty on wolves actually began in 1630 in Massachusetts, is when they first decided to start eradicating wolves. So they would find any that they could. As you can see, they would, if they found a den, they would kill the pups, they would kill anything, they would get them for their fur. And so it's kind of gruesome the things that they did to them. They would torture them. If they found them, they would burn them. If they trapped them, there's actually some stories of them wiring the wolves' mouths shut and letting them go, so that way they would basically have a long death and starve to death. They would have hunting competitions, try and kill as many as we've seen in the last picture. There was quite a few killed there. They would poison different carcasses and let the wolves eat them, but this did have different effects as well, because different birds would feed on the carcasses as well. So there was seen a drop in raven populations and other small mammals that would eat those as well. They would trap as many as they could, and this actually mostly started with farmers and landowners. So the farmers, and they didn't want the wolves around their livestock. They were worried. Many people were worried about the wolves just because they are predators. So as you can see, there's different opinions about wolves. So the Native American population, the indigenous people, you can see in all their art, wolves are very present in their culture, in their art, everything. They depict the wolf more as a companion rather than an enemy. But the European settlers, they seen wolves as kind of like these bloodthirsty monsters. They had many people thought that they just hunt because they like to. They do it because they just kill whatever comes around. But they do eat a lot, as I said before. They eat 5.5 to 14 pounds of food a day, but they also take a lot of energy to hunt that food. That's why they go after big game. Because it is known that they will chase prey up to 3 miles. And so they need all that. They don't kill for fun, as many people back then thought. So the ecosystem changed a little bit, kind of what we can see. So the wolf is known as a keystone species. So basically that means that they have an inordinate effect on their environment. And if they are removed, they'll have a drastic impact on the ecosystem. So in Colorado, elk are the primary predator. They were. I mean, wolves still go after elk. That's the primary prey of wolves. And the wolves prey on the sick, the weak, the old. It is seen that they will occasionally kill seemingly healthy adult elk and adult other large animals, but they've actually gotten they've ran tests on some of the kills that they've done, and it's actually seen that the adults that the wolves kill, most of them have like arthritis or some kind of underlying disease or something. So elk, they change their behaviors in the presence of wolves. That's what was seen in Yellowstone. So once they reintroduced wolves to Yellowstone, the elk were putting the land at risk of overgrazing because there was no predators hunting them. There was nothing forcing them to move. They would just stay in one spot and just hang out. And so after the wolves were reintroduced to Yellowstone, there was a lot of regrowth in the area, and it improved a lot of things. It improved the lives of the smaller animals that fed, the herbivores that fed on all that. And it really helped. It reduced some of the elk population, but not drastically, not to cause concern. And so that's what is kind of seen in what they've been talking about in Rocky Mountain National Park here in Colorado. They've been seeing an increased elk population. And so they've been kind of talking about reintroducing wolves, but they don't want to because compared to Yellowstone, Rocky Mountain National Park is like 1/9 the size. So if the wolves get out of Rocky Mountain National Park, which most likely they will because they wandered, and there's the different agencies and counties around Rocky Mountain National Park can't guarantee their protection. They can't guarantee protection from humans, from anybody. So they're trying to find other ways, but it's still, we're seeing the same problems with Yellowstone in Rocky Mountain National Park. The vegetation, they need regrowth, but they're trying to figure out a way to do that without reintroducing wolves. But some people think that that's the best option. So it's kind of a toss-up between, do you restore the natural balance in a way, because wolves were very widespread, but that's pretty much it.